Hey guys, this is Cami Harbison with iDigital Times, and today I'm here to show you another favorite deck that I have been working with this week that has taken me to Arena 5 Spell City. This deck, I honestly can't tell you exactly why it's working, and I will say that it takes some patience to work with this deck, but if you start to get familiar with it, you will find yourself winning a whole lot more times than you're losing, and that you will be pushing into Arena 5. I've been using this deck since Arena 3 and have had some good success with it. So basically, the deck includes three, pretty good offensive characters. That would be my Giant, my Witch, and my Baby Dragon, which actually the Giant I haven't used that much in this deck, but it is useful at some times. And then in terms of defenders, I've got a lot of good defense and backup here from range characters like the Musketeer and the Spear Goblins and the Goblin Hut, obviously. I've got a nice Swarm Defender, the Skeleton Army there, and I've got a range air attacker, the arrows that can help to take out some of those swarms that may come after me. So basically with this deck, I've got a lot of variety here that can help me to basically overcome attacks from a lot of different kinds of combinations and attackers. I'm not going to spend a whole lot more time talking about this deck other than, like I said, it's really worked for me, but I want to show you a couple of battles where I won with this deck and the attacker was a little bit higher level than I was, so you can see the effectiveness of it. Okay, give me just a second while I run into that. Okay, so here we go. And you'll notice like I'm not getting many like 3-1 wins. They're definitely more like 2-1, 1-1 wins. But let's see, we'll start with this one right here and take a look at kind of how that works out. Okay, so here I'm going to go ahead and play the witch. I was sort of holding off so that I could build up plenty of elixir, and since he wasn't really budging, he threw down that Tesla there. So I'm going to go ahead and throw down my giant on the other side to help absorb some of that, current from the Tesla. That way my witch could go in and do what she wanted to do there. That may or may not have been the best strategy, but it's the one that I used in that case. As I mentioned before, the thing about this deck is really making sure that you use control and judgment in the elixir that you spend. You notice I didn't send that swarm out right away. I waited to build up some elixir so that I could handle anything that was coming. And I guess that's key to playing this game, period, is just learning to manage your elixir really well so that you can stay a little bit ahead of your opponent if at all possible. Okay, so I saw those couple of Teslas there, and I'm not going to send a ton of troops out at once because I want those things to die down a little bit. Notice I put down 2 goblin huts. I love it when I can get 2 goblin huts down because exactly what's happening there. They can really start to pile up and deal some good damage. Sure, arrows can take them out, but a lot of times there's just a whole nother set coming right behind them, and they work really well for offense and defense. So as much as possible, I try to throw down all the goblin huts that I can when I'm working this deck. You see we're now getting into our last minute of this game. I just took down one of his towers, and at this point I'm going to focus on trying to make sure I have some defense for both of my towers over there by throwing down 2 goblin huts. But I still want to continue to push towards that far left tower so that possibly, I can take it out as well. Notice how I like to put all of my range attackers behind my tower so that they're not absorbing as many of the hits. All right, see all those guys came out of that fairly unscathed and they're headed for that other tower. And by having all those spear goblins, they're really able to kind of combat that Tesla, wear it down by coming out in that little stream like they do, so that once it's dead, then I can throw out some other defensive or offensive players. And you see there I took out that second castle into overtime.